It's a real treat to bring new music to the airwaves every week, and such a treat to have Ani DiFranco with us here today. This is a woman that needs absolutely no introduction, but I am still very honored and humbled to do that just now. Ani DiFranco, y'all. Let's hear it.
All right. Thanks. Pretend I just got here, which I kind of just did. Thanks for waiting. Sorry I'm late. It's been one of those days. It started in the middle of the night last night when both generators on our bus went down. It was 2,000 degrees. There's not even a vent. It was just this sealed box. There was just a bunch of half-naked, sweating, splayed people in the front lounge by the time we rolled into town. Just in time. But all right. Made it. All right, I'll just maybe play an older song just to warm up. Okay. You got any requests since anything you want to hear? No? What? Ooh, sorry, pal. I don't know that one right now. I suck. Wow. Okay. I may know it. Buildings and bridges are made to bend in the wind, to withstand the world, that's what it takes. All that steel and stone are no match for the air, my friend. Doesn't bend, breaks, doesn't bend, breaks. La-da-da-da-da-da-da, 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 la-da-da-da-da-da, la-da-da-da-da-da, la-da-da-da-da-da. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. We are made to bleed and scab and heal and bleed again. Turn every scar into a joke. We are made to fight and fuck and talk and fight again. Sit around and laugh until we choke. Sit around and laugh until we choke. La da 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 da, la 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 da 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 da. I don't know who you were expecting. Probably some bitch who does not budge, with eyes comprised of small. I may get pissed off sometimes, but you seem like the type to hold the grudge. And in the end, I just let it go. In the end, I just let it go. La da 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 da, 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 la da 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 da. Buildings and bridges are made to bend in the wind, to withstand the world, that's what it takes. All that steel and stone are no match for the air, my friend. What doesn't bend breaks, what doesn't bend breaks. All right.
That was amazing. Ani DiFranco, let's hear it.
Why, thank you.
We have Ani DiFranco live from the stage at KDHX. I'm Chris Sanley, host of The Future Is Now. We are so thrilled to have you here with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very sweet.
Oh man, and you're just such an icon to so many, an idol to many, many music fans, especially women. I'm so thankful to have had your fierce feminist voice throughout the years. If you can just sit down and listen to any one of your records and just have all of these like, yes, like that. 100% moments. You're just like,
you know, it's funny. Not if you're me.
Oh yeah, okay. That's how you're working all of that out. If I sit down and listen
to any one of my records, I'm like, oh no, oh.
Well, we're doing the exact opposite.
Okay, good.
So I thank you for that.
Good.
And you know, since the very beginning of your career, you've really been touching on a lot of these really important issues, from women's human rights, environment, gun violence, and I'm curious, you know, throughout the years, have you seen any kind of shift as far as the public perception of your music and these themes, especially from the beginning to now, where there really is just a bigger platform for a lot of these issues in the public sphere today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, when I started out, I don't know, there was a lot of pushback, just everywhere I went, you know. I don't know, there just wasn't very much room in the world for a voice like mine, you know, singing songs like those, and I hit a lot of walls, a lot of, you know, and I got stereotyped pretty hard right off the bat, like, you know, angry, militant, puppy eating.
It's what happens to strong-willed women. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, you know, hairy, scary, dyke, and everywhere I would show up, people, it was so funny, because then I would show up, you know?
Yeah.
and every time I'd walk into a room, some dude would say, I thought you'd be taller. Like, hey, nah, just me, you know? And that has changed every year, every moment, you know, just due to myself and so many other women kind of just pushing their voices into the chorus, you know, and just sort of trying to make ourselves included, and I think it's really is changing, as we can all feel, you know, women's stories, women's lives are starting to be considered. And
considered as just stories, just lives, not necessarily being gender typed. You know?
Well, that would be amazing. That is the final frontier.
We're working on it.
yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, these days, you know, in these sort of politically desperate times, I feel like there is more readiness than ever around me and this, you know, work I've been doing. You know, more receptiveness, you know. I mean, I've always been the kind of person who drops the P word, you know, patriarchy, into like polite conversation, you know, and usually people start backing away. But these days people are like, yeah, let's talk about it.
Absolutely. And so happy that you were able to carve out a space for yourself when it wasn't easy to do that. You know, you started your own record label, Righteous Babe Records, very appropriately titled, of course. And, you know, what continues to motivate you? What keeps you just taking on a lot of these systemic ills with each record, time after time, head on, and just with such passion and fierceness?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, songwriting for me and playing music, of course, the doing of music is so healing. It's so healing. And to take your pain, whether it's personal or political, you know, I mean, I've never really drawn those lines as strongly as some. Mm-hmm. But to transform it into something more beautiful, something more useful is just the best feeling I've ever, it's one of the best feelings I know. And so I started out doing it for myself, you know, to heal myself. And I've had these incredibly physical, visceral experiences of, like, say, I'm having panic attacks about something, and then I write about it, and I stop having panic attacks, you know? It's literally healing to my body and my soul. So, and then you find out you do that, and then you go into the world carrying these songs, and you realize, whoa, it can work for other people, you know? And then people start coming up to you and going, thank you, me too. I can't tell you how many years I've heard me too. And there's another one of my favorite feelings, you know? So, phew, why would I do anything else now?
Yeah. Oh, well, let's talk about my favorite song on the new record, Binary, Play God. And that is one, you know, you just mentioned political and personal, how that plays in your songs. And this is one that really does tackle both of those. And when you get to that titular lyric, you don't get to play God, I do. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Damn. Yes.
I wrote it for you.
Yeah.
Because when I wrote that, when I was like in the moment of writing that lyric, I was like, oh boy, what's gonna happen to me? But I knew you would happen to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many, you know, feminists, men, women alike, that can and do listen to that song, and they're just like, absolutely. And you know, you're talking about reproductive rights as civil rights issue.
Yeah.
You're also talking about your personal life, you know, being on your own since you were 15 or 16. Can you walk us through a little bit more of like the construction of this song?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think I was like, when I started, it was more, I was listening to Missy Elliott. I was listening to like Howlin' Wolf. I was like, what if I was standing right in between Missy and Howlin' Wolf, you know? And wanted to write
I would buy a ticket to that tour.
Yeah, right?
Just saying.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It was a good place to be with my little guitar. And I started out writing like a bragging song. Like, what is my bragging song? Like, I was an emancipated teenager, you know, taking care of myself from 15 on. So I thought, I'll start there. And then it mutated, you know, into a sort of reproductive freedom. Because I just started thinking about, I'm not a child. In fact, even when I was a child, I wasn't a child. I was holding my own. I was contributing to society. You know, I started paying taxes when I was 18. And I was thinking, and so my brain just, therefore, I should not be treated as a child, you know, which is, I think, what this idea of controlling women's reproduction for them is about.
It's a lot of infantilization for sure. Oh, we are going to talk some more, but can we hear another song first?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, let's do Play God.
All right, Ani DiFranco with Play God on the Futures Now on 88.1 KDHX.
I was done at 16, showing up for class. I was out there in the ring, learning how to kick some ass. I was done at 16, using my mama's key. It was all on me, yeah, it was all on me. Weren't no free rides, weren't no IOUs. I pulled my weight, yes, I paid my dues. And I showed up to enlist on the first day of recruits. How about you? How about you? And I'm my brother's keeper every chance I can. And I pay my taxes like any working man. And I feel I've earned my right to choose. You don't get to play God, man, I do. You don't get to play God, man, I do. You get to run the world in your special way. You get much more than your say. Government, religion, it's all just patriarchy. I must insist you leave this one thing to me. Oh, one thing to me. Oh, yes, one thing to me. Oh, leave this one thing. 'Cause there's one thing that a man needs to be truly free. This is the modern world, and that one thing is money. But there are two things that a woman needs: control over her own body. Yes, I pay the price on top of everything. Each month a bill, each month a reckoning, and each seed that dies I cry and I bleed. So you can't tell me, nah, you can't tell me. Yeah, I am a soldier, it's my blood that flows. I'd give my life so that this tree can grow. You don't know creation like I know, so you can't tell me, nah, you can't tell me. You get to run the world in your special way. You get much more than you say. Government, religion, it's all just patriarchy. I must insist you leave this one thing to me. Oh, oh, yeah. One thing to me. Oh, oh, one thing to me. Oh, oh, yes. Leave this one thing. 'Cause I'm my brother's keeper every chance I can, and I pay my taxes like any working man, and I feel I've earned my right to choose. You don't get to play God, man, I do. You don't get to play God, man, I do. You don't get to play God, man, I do. All right, thank you.
You're listening to Ani DiFranco live from the stage on 88.1 KDHX. I am Chris, host of The Future Is Now. Thank you again so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just heard Play God off of your wonderful new album, Binary. And the new record, it's very lush and layered and sonically diverse. And I'm curious kind of what inspired some of these new sonics? Did it have anything to do with taking just a little bit more time in between albums these days as opposed to a cool
sure.
10 albums in 9 years like you did at the beginning?
Yeah, absolutely. Time, the time-space continuum.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a couple kids. I had a kid 11 years ago and then 5 years ago, and they slowed me right down. And it's been great, you know. I mean, it was excruciating at first, you know, as all the parents know, you know, to be wrenched away from your work if you love your work, which I am lucky to. And but then after a while, I was like, oh, wow, I can use this patience in my writing, in my record making. It's a tool that I never had, you know. I never would have found it on my own. So taking time. I mean, I have incredible friends now. You know, I got a community. I live in New Orleans, lived there for 15 years. And, you know, I mean, there's just, there's just so many incredible musicians walking by. Yeah, man, etc. It's just incredible. I mean, I can make local calls and, you know, get some of the most brilliant people on earth to come play on my records. And then also, you know, this record I stepped outside for the first time really and had somebody mix it.
I was gonna ask you
Chad
about that.
Blake.
Album 20, you were like, finally, I
Album
guess
20.
I'll relinquish that control this one time.
Yeah. Thank goddess. It finally occurred to me. And yeah, Chad, you know, I mean, I had worked with other people in the mixing process. Sometimes I do it totally on my own. Sorry. But this was the first time where, you know, I just employed this most genius mixing soul, Chad Blake. He lives in Wales. I just sent him the raw tracks, and he sent me back mixes. And luckily, I have 20 records under my belt, so I'm prepared to let go at this point, delegate.
Yeah.
You know?
About that.
Took me 20 to get there, but...
Was there anything surprising about his mixes when you got them back? Any songs that were just completely transformed and outside of what you had initially envisioned them as?
Absolutely. And I mean, you know, when you go through the process of making a record, you're in a very non-objective place.
Oh, yeah.
And even, you know, I mean, like, you know, Ivan Neville, I think, is just a genius, just an incredible musician. And it would never occur to me to hit mute on his organ. Why would you do that? Except Chad just totally off in his own dream, did all kind of crazy shit that I would have never done. And it's like, oh, okay, that works. But having emotional attachments or aversions due to whatever went down during the process, you know, my brain is clouded in that way. So it was really cool to have somebody step in and just, you know, sort of elevate the recordings right at the end there.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's so cool. And you had, you know, some other important people guest on the record. Justin Vernon of Bon Iver, of course, on the track Zizzing.
We were just in Eau Claire last night.
Oh, that's
playing for his hometown peeps.
Oh, and I love him so much, but I'm far more interested in your daughter, Peta, joining you on the song even more. I thought that was so sweet to include her in this process. I mean, this is your life. And I'm curious, was she nervous? Or is this something that, you know, is she going to follow in her mom's footsteps?
If you ask her, she sure is. I'm like, you still have to do your homework. She's like, but I'm going to be a singer.
She can do that and do her homework.
Yeah, right. She's trying. She is a better singer than me, and I'll just say it straight up. She really, she's got it. She can, you know, remember a melody instantly. She can sing on the exact pitch of a song from memory. She comes up with these counterpoints and harmonies that I might or might not be able to do at my age. So it's pretty cool to see her, and so cool for me because my experience with both of my children was that, you know, my guitar to them was the enemy. You know, from the minute they both popped out, I'm just not allowed to play around them. You know, that sort of far off look that gets in mommy's eyes when she picks up the guitar. It's like, right here, mom, right here. me. So that was kind of brutal until Peta started becoming a part of the music. And then suddenly, you know, once we were doing it together, it was allowed. And it just, I mean, for me, singing with her is just the most joyful thing.
I can only imagine. It's so special that you get to share that with her.
Yeah.
And will you ever be bringing her out on the road with you during summer when homework is taken care of course?
Yeah, right. Well, she, you know, when she was a baby, she was a road baby till she was 3.5, steady. I mean, she, you know, she knows how to do the key thing in the hotel. She knows, like, airport. And she'll tell you, she's so cute. She's like, I love airports, Mommy. I just feel so comfortable. I'm like, wow.
She is alone in that.
Yeah, she is alone in that. But that is her comfort zone, the road.
That's great.
But then, of course, she went into school. But these days, she does come out when she's not in school, and she comes up on stage. She's colossally, you know, shy and stage fright, but she loves it. She just loves being out there and being on the bus and being now, you know, she sits side stage and she just eyeballs everything. She's just soaking it up.
Forever a student, even when she's not doing her schoolwork. So that is great. We're about to wrap up here, but I do want to ask, you know, what's next for you? Do you have anything special planned for the 30th anniversary of your debut? I heard rumors of a memoir maybe happening.
Yes. A memoir is happening. Yes. Yeah, it's been all right. book writers of the world, book appreciators. Yeah, it's been a year and a half of just sitting in front of a laptop, and my ass is a whole other shape now. It's been crazy. I haven't written a song. That's the
Oh, wow.
really, I just have been pouring every available moment and ounce of creative juice into this book, and I'm almost done. June is my deadline, so
All right.
I'm almost
Here we
done,
are.
publisher. Almost done. And I can't wait to get back to making songs. But the memoir thing has been really, really cool, really challenging. And I'm excited to be done. Almost.
We have Ani DiFranco live from the stage at KDHX. Thank you again so much for stepping away from the laptop for a moment to play some songs for us today. Can you close out with one more?
Sure. What to play? I'd ask for more requests, but I'm afraid to disappoint. The tiny guitar? Sure, we brought the tiny guitar, and why not play the tiny guitar? All right, yeah. Maybe I'll play you that song that Bon Iver sang on.
Yes. Ani DiFranco with Zizzing. Let's hear it one more time.
All right. Flush with water, skin slick with oil, power poles zizzing in the fog like Tesla coils, sweeping patterns of glistening crystals, what we call music in the air. Whiskey dripping down your temples, mosquitoes in your hair. And in the background, a riverboat is sounding its goodbye. Yes, our magic should be more powerful as the years go by. Where did I go so wrong with you? Tell me, where did I? Laughter spilling on laughter, muscle pulling on bone, the sorcery of stilettos spilling on cobblestones, and all that precious cargo. Don't know where it comes from, where it goes. Just know everything else is on a mission to decompose. And in the background, a riverboat is sounding its goodbye. Yes, our magic should be more powerful as the years go by. Yeah, where did I go so wrong with you? Tell me. Thank you so much, guys. Pleasure to be in your company.